Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It with your host, Ralph Williams. And now, without further ado, Ralph Williams.
And good evening and welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams. It's great to be here tonight. And I got to tell you, it's a great night tonight. I know it's cold outside and it's not the greatest thing in the world, but you know what? At least you can get warmed up right here with The Way I See It. Oh yeah, Ralph Williams back on Monday night, 7 p.m. and every Monday night right here live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and or Twitter, whichever platform that you are using. We are here for The Way I See It. All right. Tonight, we have a lot to talk about. I have about 7 blasts that I need to get out and boneheaded move. But tonight, we're gonna dedicate this show tonight to Pastor Paul Roberts. And those of you who don't know who Pastor Paul Roberts is, he is the senior pastor of Eastminster Presbyterian Church, and he is retiring. Yesterday was his last service. He is going to retire at the end of the year. And we had a banquet for him last night. I was at the church for the banquet, and we also had the mayor. Mayor Ed Gainey was there to proclaim December 18th in the city of Pittsburgh, Pastor Paul Roberts Day. Okay. We're going to talk about Pastor Paul Roberts later on, but tonight's show is dedicated to him. And I wanted to let everyone know that tonight. Pastor Paul has been an influential person in my life. And not only just my life, but many lives over the 38 years that Pastor Paul has been a pastor. So we'll talk about him later on. All right. Tonight's Chinese wisdom. Perhaps you have been focusing too much on spending. Oh, what a Chinese wisdom for the holidays, just for you. All right, so that was our Chinese wisdom tonight. Our blast segment brought to you by DJ Fun. DJ Fun is a party DJ. Give him a call today, 412-545-4317. Parties, weddings, special events. Give DJ Fun a call today. All right, those of you new to the program, this is The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams, and we're here every single Monday night, 7 p.m. We are on 4 platforms, as you see at the bottom on the ticker tape. We are on 4 different platforms. So make sure that you're on one of them if you need to get to see the show here. And also, don't forget to get on my, excuse me for a moment here. Something happened with my collar. I don't know why my collar's so up in the air here. Here we go. All right. Trying to fix it. There we go. All right. Okay. Anyway, so you can be on one of those 4 platforms. You can also archive if you watch my face or my YouTube channel. And get this, I'm up to 59 subscribers, and I'm looking to get to 60 by the end of the year. So you have 2 weeks to find somebody to become a subscriber on my YouTube channel. So don't forget, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m., Sports Corner, myself, Ralph Williams, along with Smoke and Jim Frazier, our guest, Avi Greenwald. Avi's a friend of mine from Miami, Florida. We're going to talk about stuff going on. Jacksonville with the big upset. Also, we're going to talk about Miami and the Buffalo game and a whole lot more. Also, tomorrow night, Steelers, Pitt Panther football. They're getting ready for their bowl game December 30th. We will talk about that as well. Myself, Smoke and Jim Frazier. Avi Greenwald's my guest tomorrow night, right here on YouTube, Twitch, and also YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter, as you'll see at the bottom of your ticket tape right there, as you're viewing this program tonight. All right. Blast segment tonight. The people who stole the bikes from a Natrona Heights Toys for Tots. Shame on you. Why would you even consider, it's Christmas time, but of course we have these greedy people who are out here and they don't care about Christmas time. They don't care about Toys for Tots. They don't care the fact that the Marines are involved in it. They don't care about that this stuff's going to go to kids. They steal it because they refuse to go out and get a job, and go get the bikes for their kids instead of stealing them. Okay, that is what you have done. You have stolen from the Toys for Tots, the Marines. You stole from the people in the community in Natrona Heights. But that's okay, because guess what happened? You got egg on your face. And you might as well turn yourself in right now, because guess what? They got those bikes back. People became aware of what's going on. And you know what they did? They pitched in and they had a GoFundMe page. They pitched in and went and did this. This is the fight of our Marines. All right? For Toys for Tots. So guess what? You got egg on your face. All right? The crooks or the crook who stole those bikes. Shame on you. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, the guy who decided to abuse some kids that he was working with under his care at a swim club or swimming place. You know what? One thing I cannot tolerate is a guy that we used to call back in the day a Chester. You know what a Chester is? That's the guy who messes around with the kids and he molests them and he causes problems. You know, the one thing that really bothers me is a Chester. Okay? I don't like somebody that's like a Chester. All right? Somebody who goes and plays around with children and we're going to play in the swimming pool a little weenie game. Yeah, some weenie game you were playing there, guy. All right? You know what? Shame. It's sad to hear this, and I'm blasting you tonight for even doing this. These parents put their kids in your care, and you went ahead and decided to do this at this swim place. You know what? It's really sad. It's sickening, and that's the way I see it tonight. Next, the Westmoreland County guy who was the Westmoreland County government. Okay, in case, again, you are not aware, because there are folks out here who mess around on Xbox, play around on their phone, and have no clue what's going on in society. Well, in case you don't know, there's a 92-year-old man whose name is Cyril Wecht, Dr. Cyril Wecht, one of the greatest pathologists in the world. Okay? Westmoreland County had him under their employ, or under their contract, or whatever it was, for many years. And guess what? They terminated his contract. And I'm blasting you for that tonight, the Westmoreland County government. Okay? How dare you? How dare you cancel the contract of a guy who's a world-renowned pathologist, who did the autopsy on John F. Kennedy, who did the autopsy on John Benet Ramsey, and told the county and told the parents that they were the ones who did it. And nobody believed him. And he wrote a book about it. Okay, here's the guy who's done some top autopsies in the world. World-renowned, and you're going to fire him? What is wrong with you? Or terminate his contract, or whatever it is you did. All right? Westmoreland County government, tonight I'm blasting you for this, because you should have never did this to Dr. Cyril Wecht. That's a shame, and I'm blasting you tonight. And that is the way I see it. Next, Woodland Hills School District. For not doing something about bullying. Some kids and parents went to the school board meeting just recently and got quite angry because their kids are being bullied. And guess what? Guess what's happening? What do you think my theme has been this entire year, because I knew it was going to come down to this? Guess what it was? Nothing. Nothing at all. The school district didn't do anything. They don't even have a policy for bullying. Why in the world would you even do that? Woodland Hills, you of all people that have been on the news so many times, that have been so integrated with the fact that you know that there's bullying going on and you don't have a policy. And then you go and you tell these parents, I didn't know it was going on. Yes, you did. And that's why I'm blasting you tonight, Woodland Hills School District. And that is the way I see it. Next, the person or people who vandalized the church on the south side. One thing I cannot tolerate, I cannot stand, and I will not tolerate. That's why I'm blasting you tonight, okay? And that's the folks who decided to rob the church on the south side. Rob the church! Do you understand what a church is? What is a church? A church is a place of worship, a place where people go to worship and praise God. And you robbed. You stole from God. You stole from his house. That's why I'm blasting you tonight. You thieves who think you can just take and take and take from these churches, from a charity, from whoever, whatever. Because you're so lazy, you won't go out and get a job that are there and paying well. You'd rather take the shortcut. Well, guess what, folks? I hope they catch you. I really do. I really hope that they really catch you with that, with anything that you stole from that church on the south side of Pittsburgh. You know, the south side's having a lot of problems. And part of it is because people like you who steal. So why would you even consider stealing from the Lord? Oh, of course, you were so high on whatever drugs you're on that you didn't even choose to even think about the fact that you're stealing from God. I don't even want to go any further. That is the way I see it tonight. All right, next, the custodian in the West Green School District who stole from the school. I mean, come on, man. Really? Did you really have to do that? And you know what's funny? People who do these things, they make idiots of themselves. Okay? That is the way I see it tonight about this custodian. Next, the Cupcake Company. This is sad. The Cupcake Company who took money from people and didn't deliver their orders and claimed it was for a charity involving a child. Now, this child has insurance. He does not need the money of fundraising capabilities. But it turns out that somebody in his family, okay, in his family decided to do this and used the child with this cupcake scheme. But he's been arrested. And that is the way I see it tonight. That was the Blast segment brought to you by DJ Fun. DJ Fun, call him today. 412-545-4317. He was just recently at the Lower Borough at the Hillcrest Country Club where he was there for a party, an anniversary party, by the way. It was a 50th one. He was there on Saturday. If you want DJ Fun to DJ your event, you need to call him today. And the reason I say this is because DJ Fun is offering 2022 rates for 2023 if you book before January 1st. Okay? So book with him today. Parties, weddings, special events. He's been around more than almost 15 years of DJing. Give him a call today. 412-545-4317. Don't delay. Call today. Next, our Bonehead segment. The guy who threatened the staff at Latrobe Hospital and then got arrested for it. Now, what a bonehead that is. Why in the world would you even do anything like that at all? Because you're a bonehead. That's why. Threatening the staff at Latrobe Hospital because you claim that you didn't like what was going on with their medical care. All right? This bonehead is an ex-military person, and he's part of the pagans. Really? What a bonehead. The guy who broke into a police station to turn himself in. Oh my! Oh, what a bonehead! Uh, to, to, broke into the police station to turn himself in. Can you believe that? All right. Now we get into one of my favorite segments. Is my life story. Last Monday night we weren't able to have the show on. I had it on Sunday at 7 o'clock. My reasoning behind that was because we decided, my wife and I, that we were invited to a Christmas party. So we went to this Christmas party, and this is the agency who employs the caregiver that helps me out. As you well know, I am handicapped. Okay, I am in a wheelchair, and so that is the main reason I have a caregiver who comes over and does some things for me. Okay. So the agency had this Christmas party, and it was down at the Rivers Club downtown Pittsburgh in Oxford Center. Beautiful place, okay? But the food was undesirable, all right? Not impressed with the food at all. Nice party. Great things went on. My wife won a tin can of popcorn, like comes in one of them little Christmas tin cans. Yeah, she won one of them, okay? But it was a nice affair. I enjoyed it, but the food wasn't bad. Food was horrible. Okay. Mashed potatoes taste like paste. So did the gravy. Okay, the beef wasn't all. It was okay. And then they had these little chicken things with stuffing in it. And guess what? It was stovetop stuffing. Now a lot of people don't realize this. I was in the customer service, customer service for over 35 years. 35 years before I became handicapped to where I cannot work anymore. All right. So it turns out that I was in the food service business. So I understand what it tastes like when you serve something like stovetop stuffing or something from a food service. Okay. The mashed potatoes were homemade, but they were lumpy. You know how you don't whip your potatoes up whenever you have homemade mashed potatoes? Okay. And they had a bland taste to them too. All right. The vegetables were good though. All right. Salad was all right. But for a club like the Rivers Club, you would expect better. Now, I don't know, maybe they have certain package deals, or maybe they have certain, different types of things that, different packages of catering or party or whatever. And maybe the company here may have ordered the low package. Okay, so the food quality obviously is not going to be, is going to be, I don't know that. So don't quote me on that. I don't know that. But what I'm saying is that could be the case. All right. Next on Friday, my wife and I had to take her to an appointment. She unfortunately had to have her toe amputated, but she's doing a little bit better. Thank you for the prayers, by the way. Anyhow, get to her doctor's appointment, and they failed to call us to tell us that they canceled. Now, I found out through some sources that this is going on quite a lot. It is. Appointments are being canceled at the last minute because they don't have staff. Okay? We're back to, we don't have staff. Okay? The medical field is real bad. People are underpaid, overworked. It's been going on now since COVID, and it hasn't changed. Okay? We have all these county medical, whoever from the health department, Deborah Bogan. We have all these different people, but nobody steps in and does anything about this. Okay? You have people waiting hours to get into the ERs. Now, you go into a doctor's appointment and they're canceling it when you get there. So anyway, We went today. She got in, her appointment, got out. So we decided we're going to go to Walmart. Now, we're real particular about what Walmarts we go to. So we're going out the Parkway. We decided we're going to go to the Super Walmart out in Moon. And we did. Nice, clean place out there in Moon. And you know why I like going out there? It's not just for that. But I like to go out there because every time I walk out the door, somebody comes in and smiles at me and says, "Hey, Ralph, that's the way I see it." Which means they're watching the program here. And I love it. That's why I go to the Moon. Walmart. Okay? But every time I go out there, they don't charge their scooters. Today, I had 5 different scooters and broke down. Oh, that scooter's charged. No, it's not. Then I get the manager finally, because every time I go there, no matter when it is, you know, I'm sure Christmas time people are using them, okay? Then you got these kids, they run around with them. They're not even handicapped. They think it's hilarious to take a scooter and just ride all over the store. Okay? But that didn't happen. But what I'm saying is they do it. I've seen it. Okay? All right? So 5 times I had a scooter. Now the 5th time I didn't bother to try. I was able to get up to the checkout line to get out. Okay? Most of their employees are very nice people there. They really are. Nice, very accommodating, did everything, tried. I even talked to the manager, and the manager told me they ordered a whole bunch of them. And guess what? It's a supply chain problem. Now, I thought that because our president, who is more worried about, we'll talk about this later on in our key topics, about sending billions of dollars to Ukraine instead of fixing our supply problem. Okay? Where's our economic advisor? Now, I told the Biden administration to hire Mike Bloomberg. That didn't happen. They don't care, they don't listen to me. I'm just I am a voter. But anyway, I went ahead and I said to the Biden people, hire Mike Bloomberg as your economic advisor, and I'll bet you 2-to-1 your economy will be fixed. Hasn't happened. The economy's still the same. Inflation's still the same. Everything's still the same because our president doesn't do anything about anything. Which leads to where we're almost to the end of the year of my theme of nothing. Nothing at all. And you know what? It's starting to rub off on a lot of people, not just in this city, but in this country. Nobody's doing anything about anything. Nothing. And you know what? I want to say I told you so. That's why it's called The Way I See It. Because that's the way I look at it, and the way I see it. Okay? Okay, that's the way I see that. So anyway, it's a nice place to shop. But if you're handicapped, say a prayer before you go in there. Because you're not going to get a scooter. All right, next, I want to talk about Sunday night. Last night actually. I was at the church, at my church I go to. I go to Eastminster Presbyterian over there in East Liberty. We're intentionally cross-cultural family. It was the celebration party of the retirement of our senior pastor, Pastor Paul Roberts. This show tonight is dedicated to Pastor Paul Roberts. I got to chat with Mayor Gainey. Yes, I did. You know, me and the mayor are friends. Got to finally chat with him. I know he's been busy lately. I understand. Okay? He's been left a big, huge mess by our former mayor. Okay? He's doing the best he can. I can't say more because I'm not going to. But I had to talk to him about a very important thing And he assured me we will know by February. And when that comes out, I will be the first person on this program to tell you what that is. I'm not telling you until then. You'll have to find out for yourself, which means you're going to have to watch the news. But anyway, Pastor Paul Roberts was a pastor for 38 years in 3 different churches. He was with Eastminster for 18 years. 19 years. All right. And he's retired. Now he's retiring at the end of the year. He's officially finished. Now, yesterday was his last service. He will still be at our church, him and his family, attending, and Pastor Paul will be doing special services. So he'll still be around on a part-time basis. It was nice to see Mayor Gainey come and give him the key, or they make December 18th Pastor Paul Roberts Day in the city of Pittsburgh. It was a great thing to see. All right. That the mayor of our city has decided that that's what he's going to do. It was great. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching the presentation. Okay. All right. I feel bad a little bit for the church, because this guy, Pastor Paul Roberts, was a strong person. And he did it his way. Just like I do things here my way. Okay? And I had Luther Dupree on my last recording of my TV show, The Way I See It, which is on PCTV Channel 21, Comcast, 47 Verizon Cable if you live in Allegheny County. If you are outside of Allegheny County, you can catch it on PCTV's Facebook page, okay? So, here we are. I had Luther on, and it was so nice that Luther complimented me, and we both had a discussion about the fact that we do things our way. He has his show, Steel City Sports World and the Boxing Authorities, that him and Smoking Jim Frazier, my co-host on Sports Corner and Talking Wrestling, and Claudio Rosano, who has a book, out that I enjoy. Okay, he's also a coach of the Carnegie Mellon baseball team. We're doing a special sports year in review on January 5th on PCTV. So make sure you mark this on your calendar. It starts at 6 p.m. It's also a live call-in show. 412-231-2288 is the number to call for that show. We're going to be talking about the year in sports review: Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, Pitt Panthers, the whole 9 yards. Okay? But anyway, Luther said something that was very interesting, that we do it our way. We don't have a corporate person sitting there with a script telling me what to say and what I cannot say and what I cannot do. And I love doing it this way. I wish I was on some radio station across the country somewhere doing the way I see it here. But you want to know why? Because it's the old boys gang. And I've said this numerous times, but I'm not going to repeat myself no more. But Pastor Paul Roberts did it his way for 19 years at Eastminster Presbyterian Church. He was a mainstay in the community, worked with other churches, and with racial reconciliation. In case you're not aware, we have a racism problem in this town and across the country. It's sad, but it's true. Okay? Eastminster happens to be a cross-cultural church. All right? We worship together as brothers and sisters of Christ. And I'm not here tonight to preach a sermon. I'm here tonight because I'm telling you about Pastor Paul Roberts, who this show is dedicated to tonight. I've had him on this program. He was on here about a month or so ago. We were talking about violence in the city of Pittsburgh. We were talking about violence across the world and across the country, and what he was doing to try to solve some of these problems. Him and many churches in the area. He was a big mainstay in the community of the east of the city of Pittsburgh. He's worked with other churches to try to get rid of this racial problems that we have in this entire area. Okay? And don't sit there and tell me that's not true, because it is. Okay? So tonight, while you're sitting and watching The Way I See It, I want you to do some thinking for a minute. Pastor Paul Roberts is a saint. He's the man who represents God. And he's still going to continue to do it as long as he can. Even though he's retired from the church, he's a blessing to the east side of the city of Pittsburgh, working with other churches to stop this racial divide. And it starts at Eastminster Presbyterian. We are intentionally cross-cultural family. You want to get back with God, why don't you come to church? 10:30 in the morning, we have our services at Eastminster. Okay? And the bottom line is, if you want your life to be better, you need to get with God. But I'm not sitting here because I'm not a preacher. But I am somebody who says, that is the way I see it. Pastor Paul married myself and my wife Rhonda. And I was glad he was able to do that before he retired. Okay. Me personally, Pastor Paul's been there for me through thick and thin. And he's been with a lot of other people through thick and thin, because that's his job as a pastor. I know pastors whose names I'm not going to mention who run churches for money and money only. I've been to a couple churches where all they talk about is money. They talk about nothing else. And there are some churches out there, they're frauds. They don't put their name on the church, the pastor's name. They have a van that's a brand new van. But then you have the audacity to charge your congregation for food when you have a banquet. You open up a snack bar right inside the church and charge for potato chips and Coke and all that stuff. At Eastminster, we have a fellowship hour. And guess what? It's free. We don't charge our congregation. It's not all about money when you go to church. It's about praising and worshiping the person whose church it is, and that's God's. God's house. Okay? That's the way I see it tonight. Next, on our key topics tonight, we're going to talk about security at stores. And the reason I'm bringing this up tonight is because of the holiday season. And what really puzzles me here is that we're hearing crying coming from Walmart. Crying, okay? Coming from Walmart. Why is Walmart crying? Okay, I'll tell you why Walmart's crying. Because they're saying, oh, we got too many stores and there's too much theft. And then we've got, so we have to close these stores down because of lack of sales. Like they closed the Waterworks Walmart. They said it wasn't producing. I heard it was because too much theft. Okay? And that doesn't surprise me based on what I've seen over there. And I'm not going to go no further. Okay? Today, I was at the Walmart in Moon. The lady who was in charge of checking receipts, you know how you go out the door to Walmart or a Sam's Club and they check your receipt? Now, I've been to a Sam's Club, and I'm not going to say which one it was, where someone tried to steal. And they walked out, and the receipt, everything that was in the cart was not on the receipt. They got busted. Almost went to, I was leaving and the police showed up. So I suppose they detained them. Now, I used to be a store detective, so I understand what goes on in these stores like this. They probably detained them. It was for a lot of money because I saw there was a lot in the cart at the Sam's Club that I was at. Whose area where it was, I'm not going to tell you. All right. But Walmart is crying and complaining. I mean, I'm talking really crying. I mean, it's getting really old. Here's a company that makes billions of dollars, but they're crying about theft. Well, why don't you clean it up instead of closing stores down? Okay? That Walmart over at the Waterworks Mall was the only Walmart in the city of Pittsburgh. Now, a lot of you think, oh, well, that's Aspinwall. No, it's not. That property belongs to the city of Pittsburgh because the Waterworks is over there. The water treatment plant that treats the water that you live in the city of Pittsburgh, that is there. And a lot of people don't know that. And that's patrolled by city police. But because of Mayor Peduto shortening the police force and not claim to have the money, they had to have their own security force. So they have their own security force over there. Now, I don't know what Walmart is doing or what mistakes they're making that's causing this theft. Every time I turn around, I hear about $2,000 stolen from a Walmart, $6,000 here, $7,000 there. Okay? So obviously, Walmart is doing something wrong here in regards to what they're doing about theft. Okay? Now, today, I was at the Moon Walmart. My mother says, look, that lady that's working the door hasn't checked a receipt when you go out the door. She was busy talking to another employee. Okay? It starts there. Okay? That's where it starts. When they exit the place, just like at that Sam's Club, they're supposed to check these receipts and they don't do it. All right? So, Walmart, you need to take a look at where that problem is, where it starts right there. Okay? Just that little bit of checking a receipt instead of talking to another employee is exactly what you need to do. That's the way I see it tonight about that. Next, the DA, Steven Zappala. This week he announced, our DA here in Allegheny County, he announced that he is going to be running again for another term for district attorney. Okay? And every year, somebody that's disgruntled that used to work in his office, or somebody who was a public defender that was unhappy with the way he was treated by Steven Zappala, our DA, decides to run against him. All right? They never win. This is his 8th term. I believe he's already won 7 terms. Okay? There's no limit. So obviously what he can do is he can, he's allowed to run again. He made some comments this week that frustrated a few people. Okay? But the comments that he made are actually true. All right? Judges are not given stricter sentences to youth because they have no room. They claim they have no room in these youth homes across the state. And of course, there's the fight over Schumann Center. All right? So he attacked Ed Gainey, the mayor of the city. He says, look, he goes, Ed Gainey is, in the city, in the police department, they need to be a little more responsible. They don't even have any leadership. That's true. They don't. They're still looking for a police chief. They've wasted 6 months going around asking people what they want in a police chief. Okay? You know what I want in a police chief? I live in the city of Pittsburgh. Do you know what I want as a police chief? I want a police chief that's got some guts to step up to people and not kiss their butt. Okay? I want a police chief that's going to have a police department that's not afraid to do stuff. Because the city police department, and I'm a victim of this, has done a lot of nothing from what I can see. And that's the way I see it. Okay? Maybe you haven't been involved in anything involving a policeman, a city policeman. Okay? Anything from parking, illegal parking in a handicap spot. Okay? Nothing. Again, it boils down to nothing. And this is from bad leadership. Right now, Tom Stangriki, who's a great guy, is one of the assistant chiefs. He's acting chief as of right now. Great guy. I wish he would be chief. He's good at what he does. And he has a lot of guts to say something when it needs to be said. Okay? It was so bad that the committee that Ed Gainey put together to recommend a new chief said we need a new chief. Scott Schubert, obviously, to that committee, wasn't doing what he needed to do. So Steven Zappala decides, well, I'm going to make a comment, which is true, that with the city police has no administration or no leadership or anything. I heard morale's real bad. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do anything. Okay? And that's on leadership. I want a guy or a woman or whoever is going to be our police chief. I want them to come in here and I want them to get these police motivated to do something. I want the city council and the mayor to stop handcuffing our police department, and I want the citizens review board to stop doing the same thing. Okay? Now, don't sit there and say, Ralph, you know what, Ralph? You don't understand. These police have brutalized me. They've done this and that. Well, let me ask you this, and we're going to go back to this again. Okay? Jim Rogers. I'm sorry. You know what? I have to say this about Jim Rogers. Everybody gets mad at me about Jim Rogers. Oh, Ralph, you weren't there that day. I realize, and I'm sorry that they overtased him. But why are we not sitting there understanding that Jim Rogers is a thief? He was a homeless man that refused to get help. The family didn't come forward and do anything until after he died. Why wasn't this some family, I don't care if it was from out of town, why were they not here to help Jim Rogers if he was homeless? He stole something that didn't belong to him. That's theft. Okay? They said to Jim Rogers, sit down, put your hands in the air, and keep your mouth closed. He was moving around, doing a little zigzag dance on his knees, wouldn't put his hands up, kept barking off this and that or whatever. Okay. What have I just demonstrated to you right now? Somebody refusing again to listen to the police authority. This has to change. And I feel bad for Jim Rogers and his family. But do you understand now what I'm trying to say? You know, and George Floyd's the same thing. All right? George Floyd's the same way. And those cops got prosecuted for that. I know it was excessive. I understand that. He was one of the number one criminals, the number one list in the police department. Do you catch what I'm getting at? But we got Ricky Burgess, and we got some of these other guys out here that are on city council. Oh, we can't have cameras in Homewood. But Homewood is where all the shootings are. Oh, we can't pull over African Americans for driving. Do you realize by pulling them over, we have solved more crimes? Because we arrested the person who was involved in that was escaping justice. Ricky Burgess. It's people like Ricky Burgess and some of these others on city council who will handcuff our city police, and now they got the DA saying something. And now the whole administration of the city of Pittsburgh has egg on their face. Yes. Big egg. I'm a victim of that. Okay? You don't know how many times I have fought with police because somebody illegally parks in a handicapped parking spot. They can't tow their vehicle away. They have to be here. I can't put a ticket on that car. It's on private property. Private property. I don't care if it has a handicap placard. They're not a tenant here. They're not even supposed to even park in the parking lot if they are not a tenant here. And this is what I get from the police. In 2017, my friend and I, he's in a power chair as I am, we decided to power chair our way over to PNC Park. Beautiful day. We were going to see the Chicago concert that night, right after the show. Or, I'm sorry, right after the ball game. So we're on our way over, okay? It was nice, and then it rained, and we ended up in a rain delay, and we didn't get out of there until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. All right? We're coming up towards Ross Street on Forbes Avenue. We'd just come out of the Armstrong Tunnel. And get this. We're crossing the crosswalk there. There's a policeman behind me. A city cop. Car comes around, almost hits me. I'm in the crosswalk. I got the walk signal. Almost hits me. And then speeds away. I said to this policeman, this city cop, I says, are you going to do anything about this? Can't you call your buddies or get somebody on the phone? You know what he said to me? I got to call 911. He can't do it. He went to court. Are you joking with me? Do you understand now what I'm trying to say about what the DA says is true? So please, don't sit there and go, DA Sapala has a lot of nerve to sit there and talk about ours and talk about the police. Look at him. Why, you know what? DA Sapala cares. And he does what he needs to do to prosecute the right people. He's prosecuted cops. Okay? So I don't want to hear no more from anybody that I'm wrong. And I'm not, and neither is DA Sapala. All right? Then Ed Gainey strikes back, and he says, Mayor Gainey, he goes, well, we all need to work together as to handle the situation with this violence all over the place. I seen Mayor Gainey last night. I gave my suggestions. And you know what they are if you've watched some of my archive shows. I've told you my suggestions to get rid of it. Now I gave it to him. It was nice to see him before the holidays. It was nice to talk to him in person. And I did. And he knows me. I tell it like it is. I tell it the way I see it. And no one has to like it, but that's the way I am. And that's the way I'm going to continue to be here on this program. Why? Because it's my program. I do it my way. Just like Luther said, we do it our way. And that's right, we do. Okay? But the statements that he made are true. All right? Up here where I live, near Zone 3, they just changed commanders. Good. Because the commander that was in there was useless and did nothing. Okay? Nothing. And the police, some of the police over there, nothing. Nothing at all. Okay? Nothing. Now, I'm not saying everybody's bad. There's a few of them that are good people. Christine Lovey's a great person. Officer Lovey. She handles pets that get abused. Okay? All right? Oh, we can't tow that car away. And we can't put a ticket on that car because we're not supposed to be putting tickets on cars. That's parking's problem. You know, I said this one time, and I didn't mean to say this, but I said it because I think it's true. Some woman could be getting assaulted right in front of a cop, and they would say to this city cop, aren't you going to do anything? No, you got to call 911. You got to call 911. I got cars coming up the wrong way near Eastminster by the Home Depot, and they almost hit my car and my pastor's car because they're playing around on a cell phone, okay? And I said something to a city cop. You know what he said to me? That was there. Had somebody pulled over. There was not one but two, and I'm shouting for him, hey, look, we got this problem here. Call 911. I brought it to a cop's attention. Call 911. Call 911. Call 911. What, you can't get on a telephone and get somebody over there? No, I got to call 911. So I got to go through all these questions about COVID and have I been sick and all this other stuff before I finally get what I need done. By that time, Home Depot will be closed for the night. Do you understand what I'm saying about this? So don't say, Ralph, please, Ralph, D.A. Chappelle is wrong. No, he's not wrong. He's right. And you know what's sad? Everybody wants to put a bag over their head, or they want to put a towel over their head, and they want to cover their faces because they know I'm right. Okay? And I've said this many times. When I'm right, I'll tell you I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. And I will come clean and tell you I'm wrong. Nobody else does that in this town because nobody else has the guts to do it. That's why. Okay? It's the way I see it tonight. Mayor Gainey, it was, as I mentioned before, was there at Eastminster last night to present Pastor Paul Roberts. The 1218 will now be Pastor Paul Roberts Day in the city of Pittsburgh. And that's the way I see it tonight on that. Next, Biden's budget. Listen to this. Okay, I understand you want to give more money to our military people. They deserve it. They deserve every penny they get and more. But once again, instead of fixing our economic situation, instead of fixing the gas prices being sky high, instead of fixing the banks robbing us all the time, instead of fixing the inflation rates keep going up, and instead of fixing about the interest rates going up, and instead of fixing a lot of things there, Mr. Biden, you decided once again to give another $1 billion or more to Ukraine. To Ukraine. It's the way I see it tonight. Next, Starbucks coffee employees had another walkout trying to form a union. You know, Starbucks keeps playing games with these people. The one in Bloomfield tried to start a union. They fired a manager. And then there's some other Starbucks locations, one on Hampton, went toe-to-toe with customers because they didn't get their coffee. Oh, they didn't get the coffee. Oh, they didn't get the coffee. Oh, I had to go to McDonald's. Oh, I had to go to Wendy's. Oh, I couldn't get my coffee at Starbucks. No shame. No shame at all for the American worker who's trying to bust its butt out there. Okay? And Starbucks are mistreating their employees, which is why they want a union. Okay? Which is why unions are getting better and better now. But companies need to start understanding that people are getting more and more involved in doing this. Because they're tired of the way they're being treated by companies. And people have had enough. The union movement's coming back. And that's the way I see it tonight, Starbucks. Southfield City residents once again Sunday morning got it stuck right to you. Okay? What happened? Cars going down the hill sideways in the South Hills, Brookline, Overbrook, all those areas. Remember, Mayor Gainey promised $4 million in new equipment to solve this. But Sunday morning, there wasn't a city truck available. Accidents on 51, people sliding down roads. You know what I say to some people? Don't go out. I don't go out in that kind of weather. I'll cancel everything I'm doing. Why? Because I'm smart. Why? Because nobody has common sense. You see it's bad out there. Why would you even go out? Oh, I had to go out and get a pack of cigarettes. You know, well, see, again, here we are. We don't watch the news. We don't listen to the weather. We have all this technology, and nobody does any of that. Nothing. Okay? It all boils down to nothing. And the end of the year is coming up, and I told you that this year was going to be the year of nothing. You know what next year is going to be? I don't care. That's my theme for this show. Because you know why? That's what it's coming to. And then you're going to say, Ralph, you're right again. Yes, I am. That's the way I see it tonight. Next. I told you everything about nothing. I told everybody. I said this year was going to be about nothing. And it was about nothing. Nobody cares about nothing. Nobody does nothing. And nothing is nothing. It's all over the place. And don't tell me it's just here. I've been everywhere. And it's everywhere. People have told me it's everywhere. Okay? Right now, we live in a nothing society. Next year, it's going to be an I don't care society. Every year, I have a theme for our country. And that's what it is right now. And it's worse here than anywhere. I've been to other places. There's nothing there, but it's like this. Here, it's like this. And you know why? Because it is. I've said many times on many shows, if you watch my archive shows and become a subscriber so I can make my number 60 by the end of the year. Watch my archive shows. I've said many, many times. Okay? About nothing. And now it's going to become next year, this coming year, coming up 2023. I don't care. Because that's what you're getting right now. I don't care. Nobody cares that I'm handicapped, that I'm struggling out there. Nobody cares. Nobody cares when they see my wife trying to load my wheelchair into our Jeep. Nobody cares to help her. Nobody cares. There's a small fraction of people who do. But there's a large amount that don't. Won't hold the door open for you. Won't hold the elevator for you. Won't do anything for you because they don't care. It's the way I see it tonight. Next year, I don't care. Some quick topics to talk about right now. State Attorney General Josh Shapiro will file charges against MK Realty. Remember, we discussed this on one of my other shows. Check it out. We did this guy even blasted them. Well, he's filed charges against them for bad practices. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, Beaver County cracker plant. Remember the shell is supposed to create all these jobs. Everybody loved it. All this and that, except for the little fraction of our environmentalist people who were complaining. Well, guess what? People are getting sick. And now somebody called the health department or somebody called the Environmental Protection Agency or one of them agencies, and now they have been fined. That's the way I see it tonight. Next. All right. TrueLive in McKeesport, which happens to be one of these medical marijuana dispensary places, is laying off employees. It's kind of strange, isn't it? Wiz Khalifa comes out with a new medical marijuana thing, and now all of a sudden people are getting laid off. That's the way I see it tonight. Next. Starting January 1, PPG will take off their name on the Pittsburgh Zoo. Well, if you go to the Pittsburgh Zoo, don't let them keep you. They'll thank you for you coming back. Yeah. So anyway, the Pittsburgh Zoo will just be the Pittsburgh Zoo. No more PPG Aquarium or anything. Next, that's the way I see it tonight. Next, low income fare pilot program up and running in Allegheny County. I want to congratulate Pittsburghers for Public Transit, Laura Weens and the gang, because they were the ones who got this thing going. I've had Laura on one of my past shows, and we talked about transit in general and what PPT does. And so you can watch that show. Watch my archive show by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Meg number 60. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, a guy from Aliquippa who is starting a food truck, okay, based on the Hills Department Store. Remember when you used to go to the snack bar there and you were able to get some, a hot dog, and their food was good. Their popcorn was good. I mean, and the people were so nice when you went to Hills, to the food stand. Yeah, so he's come up with a food truck now based on that. All right, just some small announcements. Tomorrow, 8:30 p.m., Sports Corner with myself, Ralph Williams, and Smoking Jim Frazier. We're here every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. My guest, Avi Greenwald from South Florida. He will be talking about all the Florida football teams and more. Will be our guest at 8:30 tomorrow night. Also, Wednesday, Talking Wrestling, 7:30 every Wednesday night. We're here, myself, Smoking Jim Frazier. Lots to talk about in the wrestling world as well. Thursday night, 8 p.m., Blog Talk Radio. This week, 7:30 start time. We're on for 1 hour. 1 hour starting at 7:30 p.m. 347-205-9631. Wrestle Talk. Myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, Mark Mancini. Don't forget to tune in. You can listen by calling 347-205-9631. I am Ralph Williams. This has been the way I see it, and I want to make some more announcements. I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We will be back next Monday to talk more of the way I see it. So everyone have yourselves a great night, and thank you, and be safe.